What's up, everybody? We are back here with Morbid Curiosities. I am Mercedes Martinez, and with me is my awesome co host, the nefarious nomad, the numbing nightmare, your next door necromancer.
Nicholas Ewers.
Let's go.
I
That's
dig
such a
it.
cool name, necromancer. I love it.
I could get used to it. I really could. um the AI clips that are generated for us on Zencaster, its takeaway, it produced some clips. Maybe I'll post some on our Instagram if the listeners got to really want it though. But
Yeah,
its
definitely.
takeaway from that was the noodle section from our last episode. It didn't have any of the previous, um, this is our Child's Play 3 episode, I guess I'm referencing, but it didn't have like any of the cool parts in the clip. It didn't have the thunderous applause that I put under Mercedes saying my nickname. It just had the noodle section, like a 10-second clip. So I was like, even AI is gravitating towards that. So I think you
Noodle.
inadvertently started a thing.
The noodle is where it's at. And you know what's funny too? I didn't even know that you were planning on putting the applause for when I said your name. And when I heard it, I was just looking at my phone like, what the fuck did he just do? But that was a good little bit. I love that.
Nice. Yeah, I almost texted you that. I was putting it in there, but I was like, I want to see if like I want you to kind of find it out on your own or discover it naturally. And then when you started the noodle stuff, I was going to put in like some kind of like wah wah, but I didn't want you to think that I was making fun of you as opposed to the
Mm.
name. So I was like, I'm just not gonna put in that. I was like, I'll let people judge the name on their own, which they're all
What
gonna love the noodle.
what do you guys
The,
think? Should I just take away all of Nick's nicknames that I gave him and just go with Noodle? Acknowledge him as Noodle from now on? What do you guys think?
I,
Let us know.
I'll if they like the noodle, you gotta. I'll take it. Um, I'll be the martyr, but you've got to keep next door necromancer in there.
Okay, I could figure that out.
Yeah, I think that's a good compromise.
Okay, deal. Let's go with that. Let's see what the listeners want.
Hell yeah. Uh, I can already predict, just judging from our like very small but like cool Instagram like following, I can already tell which way it's gonna sway at this point. Um but go
Yeah, I
follow us
can
on
too.
Instagram, guys.
Yeah, Morbid Curiosities, POD.
So listeners who have been with us, for a while, you're probably already aware. New listeners, we are right now in the middle of covering the Child's Play, the Chucky movies. This episode is dropping the day before April Fool's Day. You're, going to be seeing that we're covering Seed of Chucky. Before we get into that, have a happy April Fool's Day. Yeah. Have a great April Fool's Day. Pull a prank on a friend. This section, you might have noticed the edit. The little prank was pulled on you guys. I had to cut a bunch of shit out. Seed of Chucky. Going ahead, spoilers for this movie. I know it took a while to get there, guys. This is why, it just the build up. It's all about the build up, But Mercedes, you go first. I like had to bite my tongue. I was about to explode. Um You go first. What are your initial thoughts on Seed of Chucky? What's your relationship to this movie? We've had a pretty we've been known on the podcast to hate Seed of Chucky, and we've had some pretty aggressive texts exchanged about this movie, and I I don't want to speak for both of us, but I can say for myself I was very excited for this episode. Now that we're here, I'm like giddy. But what are you just talk, tell me. Seed of
Okay.
Chucky. Give me the biz.
So Trying to remember when I saw this film, or at least when it came out, I was 12, so that was really awkward. So it was directed by Don Mancini and then released in 2004. So I remember the trailer. You had also sent me the trailer earlier too, and I had completely forgotten about the trailer, but watching it reminded me of how stupid I thought it was. Even going back to Bride, I feel like I'm gonna reference Bride of Chucky a lot too, just because these two movies go hand in hand. Going back to Bride, just the ending when, Tiffany is giving birth to a baby, I did not like that.
Oh, you
I don't
didn't?
know.
Did we talk about that? I loved that birth scene.
I like it's cool the concept that they had a kid, but I think it was just like the gory noises or the squishy noises. That's what I don't like.
It,
Um
it didn't appeal to the ASMR like itch. It was like kind of in the
exactly.
opposite direction. Yeah. Uh,
Exactly. That's like how it's like scratching nails on
mhm.
yeah, that thing.
Nails on a chalkboard sound. I've got
Yeah.
that with the scraping of styrofoam actually, or the rubbing of styrofoam up against each
Really?
other. Yeah, it creates
Interesting.
this like sound that it makes me want to rip my skin off.
Ew, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the squelching noises, and you hear that in this movie too. Um, but yeah, watching the trailer again, even the font they used when they were talking about, I forgot everything that was in the trailer, what they put in there, but the font did not match the movie. And then the Chucky baby that is in this trailer looks nothing like the kid we get in this movie. Um, I. I first when I watched it, however or whenever it was, because I don't know if I really did watch it when I was 12. I probably did. I was just, "What the fuck?" the entire time. Um, so watching it now, I can at least laugh at it a little more, but I'm still thinking, "What the fuck?" the entire time. But what about you? You said you had a story to go along with this, right?
Before my story, I want to know how does this rank against Child's Play 3? Not to spoil our future ranking of this franchise, but which would you say is the better film for you? Which did
Oh,
you enjoy more?
I would say this one just because at least there's some comedy in there that you can laugh at, and they do have a plot that they, you know, attempt to stick with. And even though I think it's kind of stupid at times, at many times, Child's Play 3 was just flat out fucking boring.
Mhm.
Very dry. So at least with this one, you got some good characters in there, at least some memorable characters. Very, very interesting death scenes. One is a creative one. So yes, I would rank this one over Child's Play 3.
Cool, cool. Um, yeah, Child's Play 3 fucking sucks. If you guys haven't listened to that episode, go check that out to hear some of our thoughts on that one. Um, yeah, I came into this episode with a story that I may have been hyping up a little too much. So I sent you that trailer for a reason. The
Oh
teaser
boy.
trailer for Seed of Chucky. I
Okay.
back in whatever year this movie came out, I went to the movie theater. This was the summer of that year. So, summer of 2004, I'm at a friend's birthday party and we're all going to see it was my friend Michael. We all went to see Spider-Man 2. I think they might have rented out a theater, but it was all we were seeing Spider-Man 2 directed by Sam Raimi, horror director Sam Raimi. I don't know if you guys are familiar. This movie actually, Spider-Man 2 actually does have a very scary, like horrific sequence with Doctor Octopus in the hospital where he's murdering all of these like nurses and surgeons and shit. It's really scary, and that did like unsettle me as a kid. It's great, but um so watching I'm a little kid sitting in the theater just ready for Spider-Man 2. I've never been more excited for a movie in my life. Spider-Man is my favorite superhero. I'm in like 4th grade maybe, and yeah, so I'm older than I probably should be for this story, but um I'm sitting there next to my mom too, and this trailer's coming for the listeners. There's like a baby. It's like an ultrasound of a baby there, and it's like bluish green or whatever. And it's like got this like subtitles that's like a newborn baby, this and that, blah, blah, blah. And then the baby's head turns, and it's just like Chucky's face. Now, in retrospect, a very shitty rendering of Chucky's face on a very shitty rendering of a baby. It doesn't even look good. It doesn't even look scary at all. But this scared the living shit out of me, and I couldn't sleep for what felt like a month or months. And like my mom had to sit next to me in bed and like not in my bed, but like next to my bed and wait for me to fall asleep. I like this trailer traumatized me. It gave me nightmares and is like the whole reason I've had this hang up with Chucky and have not had any interest in my life in watching the Chucky movies at all. I've like had this resentment baked in against Seed of Chucky, and I that's why when I found out Chucky gets funny, I was like, he gets funny? Fuck that. I was afraid of this guy for like it seriously like traumatized me on a certain level to where even like as an adult before going into this, I was like finally doing this Chucky thing, quietly to myself. And yeah, it's so embarrassing now, like seeing this trailer and being like this, like the face is not the face that I remembered like when I was a kid. It was like so amplified and so much more scary as a kid, and it sucks. I'll try to remember to post that trailer on our Instagram page for the listeners the day that this episode drops, or like the week that this episode drops, so you guys can all see what really fucked with me as a kid. Um, I know that was a long-winded rant. Mercedes, you got any thoughts on any of that?
Yeah, I was just trying to not interrupt you because I was thinking that was gonna go so many different ways that um none of that I actually expected. I thought you were gonna say, "Oh, since my mom was next to me, she covered my eyes," or you know, I don't know. I was just thinking a bunch of other things, and I was laughing because that is what terrified you about Chucky, this bogus ass little baby looking thing that no, it does not look like Chucky, and then it doesn't even look like his fucking kid in here. Um, that was quite the story. I was even going to um open that with this story better be a good story, it better not suck, because you were talking about it for the last few episodes, or at least talking to me about it for a while, so I was really hyped. And you know what, I wasn't disappointed in that story. I like that story, the childhood trauma. I like it.
Yeah, and I can't even properly convey like just how genuinely scary this was. There's two specific moments in childhood that like scared me and kept me up at night to where it's like I needed my mom to be there until I fell asleep. I won't go into the other one, but this is like one of them. And I think part of it too is because I was in a safe space. I was there to see Spider-Man 2.
Right.
It's and I felt betrayed by the movie theater system. But yeah, I know now as an adult, I was like, "Oh, this was directed by Sam Raimi. That's probably why they're putting fucking a Chucky trailer before this." Um, but
Nice, I
yeah,
love
that's
it.
the story. Hopefully it was podcast worthy. I
Watch people just
uh,
turned off the episode like, "Fuck this."
I haven't really
No,
told
I
many
wasn't
people that
disappointed.
story at all.
Well, it wasn't disappointing. I really liked it, and it's a good intro to this episode, to the movie. So,
Yeah,
watching
and
the
it ate up
movie
a bunch of
now
time.
that too.
Yeah, now
Um,
we're either gonna get done, whenever we want, or it can be a long episode. It can go however
right.
we want. Yeah,
So what was your take on this movie watching it now as a grown adult?
I gotta say, I faced my fears, and I was going into this thing like the torches were out. I just much like Frankenstein's monster, Seed of Chucky was afraid of me. Um, I was coming after it. But I gotta say, I kind of love this movie, and not kind of.
Really?
I think I love this movie. Yeah.
Oh my
Um,
god.
I think it's gonna live in my top 3 uh of the Chucky movies, if not the top 2 of these Chucky movies. It's right there. I had a blast with this movie. I I thought it was so fun. I thought I said this before on a different episode. I love a meta take on a movie, and like I pointed to New Nightmare where it's like this movie franchise is bleeding into our reality, and the lines are getting blurred, but this is like a meta take on Chucky, and I'm all here for it. I don't know if they continue this route. I'm pretty sure they probably don't, but I found this movie delightful. I think it's kind of cool that Don Mancini has been with this thing since the beginning, and that this is his first time directing it. He decided to take it in such a different direction from Bride of Chucky, and Bride of Chucky was such a different direction from the Child's Play movies. Honestly, I'm sitting here wondering, are the next two movies going to be like interesting movies? I I think there's a chance that these other two movies might be doing something. I don't know. You have more insight than I do, but man, was I surprised. I thought that I was ready to come into this thing just shitting on Seed of Chucky. But now I'm like, okay, I gotta defend this thing.
Wow, that was such a turnaround from your childhood traumatic experience with this. I did not expect for you to say that you love this movie. Wow.
Really?
Yeah, because I sure as fuck don't love this movie.
What do you hate
um,
about it?
so, um, and anything I say, it's nothing against Don Mancini being gay, anyone being gay, nothing about trans people, like nothing is negative from what I'm saying. I know I say I hate women and I hate men and I hate everybody, but just throwing that out there in case, some sensitive Susies listen and um yeah, but I what the fuck is with shitface? Out of all the names in the world, that is what they land on for him,
His
and
his name's not Shitface,
that's what it starts off as. They call him
but
shitface.
they change it. It's Glenn. You're pulling a
But they
Charles
start
right
off
now.
with that. No, but they start off with that. If they just started calling him Glenn and then he was saying later on, sometimes I feel like a Glenn or like a Glenda, that would have been better. But no, they had to open it like that. And he doesn't even resemble neither Chucky nor Tiffany. He has Chucky's eye color. which is actually Brad Dourif's eye color, he looks sickly. He looks ill. He's green. He actually looks like an alien. And
You didn't think he
he
looked like Jennifer Tilly when he was a little redhead boy at the end?
at the end, when he's
I'm
human,
kidding.
yes. That was a little better, but here, neither of them are, like, that greenish, ugly looking color, so why was he? That made no sense to me. I get it, it was a voodoo birth, but, he didn't have to look like that,
I
so
think you just answered your own question. I feel like this franchise, you can just put voodoo in front of anything and that'll excuse it. It was a voodoo this, and that's their answer to all of it.
Yeah,
Like, it's a voodoo
probably.
pregnancy. That's why it moves so fast, not for plot conveniences.
Yeah, and then he has his little fucking accent, his little British accent or whatever, um,
So there's a
which
reason they did that. Do you want me to tell
okay,
you?
go into it. Yeah, go into
So
that because I don't remember.
this movie was shot in Europe. I think it might have been for tax reasons. It's shot in Romania specifically, and Don Mancini points this out in the commentary on the DVD. But most of the actors that they hired just by default from where they were filming were English, and he just said, yeah, just inexplicably they're in LA, but there's a bunch of people with just English accents everywhere. But yeah, they filmed in Romania actually, so that's why the actor they got to play him, he was actually, I think they said Scottish, but he did a British accent just to go along with the other British people that were in the movie.
Okay, okay. Um, I don't know. I just think everything that went along with this movie was just pulled from a bunch of different directions. I do like the meta takes on it when, they have Jennifer Tilly trying to get a virgin type role, and then throughout most of the movie she's just making fun of herself. Apparently a lot of people like that. I'm half and half on hearing her crack jokes about herself, but
She's specifically going for the Virgin Mary too, which
yes.
I thought that was great. And then the director who's directing this like Bible movie is just staring at her breasts the entire time.
Yeah.
I love how game she was for this. Like watching this, I was like, Jennifer Tilly is just having fun. A couple years, like not too long before this, she was just in Bound. I fucking love Bound. Guys, if you haven't seen it, it's the Wachowskis' directorial debut right before they hopped into the Matrix trilogy. It's honestly my favorite movie from them. I like it more than the Matrix movies. It fucking rules. And I love that this movie is referencing Bound all the time. I'm like, what the fuck? And it's like kind of funny that feel like people probably would say is like one of Jennifer Tilly's like more like prestige kind of movies. It's on the Criterion Collection. I don't know how many movies she's in that are on the Criterion Collection, but I love that they're like not above bringing that movie down. That she's just so game for all of this.
Watching both Doc of Chucky and Living with Chucky, she was talking about how, she did want a decent amount of money to be in these films, but she even called herself a brat. I was a brat back then, because Don Mancini and another guy working on the film, they gave themselves a pay cut just so they can make sure they had enough to pay for her to or pay her to be in her role. But she even said, like, even with the bathroom scene where Chucky throws the TV in the tub, she was saying, they loved everything I did. I had to keep drowning myself so many times, but everyone loved what I did. And, why wouldn't they? So just kind of seeing that little that confidence that she even had with that, just to say, yeah, they loved what I did. And then just seeing how she can just make fun of herself. endlessly in this film. It's I'll say it's refreshing. I don't know. Some of the jokes I don't like. I think they're kind of tasteless, but some of them they could be funny. They have their moments.
Speaking of her, like, making fun of herself, she does that in the commentary too. Like, the beginning, the opening credits, which I thought were, like, pretty bad. I thought it was a bad take on, like, the creation of Chucky, how they usually do the opening credits, but Don Mancini seemed pretty proud of it, so, good for him, I guess. But Jennifer Tilly joked about how her friend called her and was like, "Oh my god, the opening scene is basically the inside of your vagina." Because it's yeah.
Right.
So I was like, "Yeah, I do really dig how game she is for this." Not gonna lie, don't love the insemination plot line. When she is pregnant and in bed and giving birth, like, I found that to be pretty delightful. It's genuinely horrific. Like, the idea of all of this happening to a person. Like, I feel genuinely bad for her while all of this is happening around her. Her life is like derailing, and she has no idea that it's actually derailing yet until she wakes up pregnant. But the insemination with the turkey baster, have you seen Don't Breathe?
Yeah, and
It's very Don't Breathe.
I yeah, it is, and I was enjoying most of that movie too until it got to that part, and I almost turned it off because no, there's only so much I can take, and no, so when they had that in here, and they even have the sperm
Drip
dripping from
out.
the base, yes, oh my god, I hate shit like that. No,
Oh
ew,
man. Yeah, that I found that to be pretty revolting. It was
very.
it was awful. But yeah, this movie, I so you did touch on him, like, not being able to pick, like, Glenn or Glenda, or like the writers not being able to land on one maybe. I mean, that's what I did kind of find amusing about this movie, is it's about gender identity, sexuality, and at times addiction for seemingly, like, no reason. It's about these, like, very self-serious and, like, personal things, and I don't think it's making fun of those things, but it's having fun with them. And I found it pretty, like, delightful. I liked hearing Don Mancini talk about it, and, like, how he was like, "Yeah, if you start seeing these movies from the dolls' perspectives, they become less scary, and it's better to lean into the comedy of it all." But I do wanna say, in terms of the Glenn and Glenda conversation, and, like, Chucky and Tiffany, Chucky wants a boy, Tiffany wants a girl. This movie's biggest fault is not fully committing to Glenda. I think Glenda is this movie's proudest achievement. That, like, moment, that, like, psycho reveal where, they think it's Tiffany, then she turns around and it's Glenda. I wanted to jump up and start clapping. I was like, "This is a five-star movie, 5 out of 5 masterpiece. It should have won Best Picture. Where's Glenda? Why isn't Glenda in everything? Glenda should be in more movies." And then they, like, totally drop Glenda immediately, and I was like, "Guys, you fucked up. You should have seen Glenda all the way through. Don't just flirt with the idea. Guys, don't just tickle my balls. Give it all to me, you know?" um
Honestly, oh, sorry, if you had more, you can go on.
no, that's all. I love
Oh,
Glenda.
okay.
What do you have to you better have only nice things to say about Glenda.
You know, being able to watch, behind the scenes clips and the 2 documentaries on the Chucky franchise, and understanding Don Mancini's direction with the films, basically saying, "I am going to just start, um, making these more homosexual bits in here. Um, I can understand this obviously way more than I did as a child, a 12-year-old, but yeah, with the character split of Glenn and Glenda, Glenda obviously beats Glenn's personality by a mile, and I was a little bummed seeing her personality pop up only at the end, even because Glenn was saying, sometimes I feel like a girl or boy. If he had, some internal thoughts throughout the movie, also as Glenda, I think that could have helped it a little bit more too, really seeing his struggle because you're mainly seeing the struggle between Chucky and Tiffany trying to choose he's a boy or he's a girl. Even though it was his own internal struggle, but they don't really talk about that. But yeah, I have nothing bad to say about Glenda. I think she's cool. Even her little human version at the end where she has Chucky's full head of crazy ass red
Oh.
hair. That was great.
Yeah, she's very creepy, and all she does is stare through a window. So
Mhm.
that's a that's a thing we need to talk about. A point in the movie. So at the end, and again, guys, we're in full spoiler mode. This movie ends in basically like a horrific blaze of glory. So Jennifer Tilly gives birth to two twin babies, a boy and a girl, and Jennifer Tilly is trying to switch bodies, or sorry, Tiffany is trying to switch bodies with Jennifer Tilly. They're going to do a body swap, and Chucky ends up putting an axe or something right in Tiffany's head, killing her. And the whole time I'm like, I bet the fucking switch worked. The switch does work, but then Glenn takes the axe, or whatever. It is an axe, right?
Yeah, it's an
Yeah,
X.
he takes yeah, because they do like a Shining parody earlier.
Mhm.
Um, but so he takes an axe and chops off all the limbs of Chucky in a very cool sequence. That's probably my favorite like action bit in the movie. They keep finding pretty cool ways to kill Chucky from movie to movie, and I dig it. But so Chucky ends up dying, and then cut to your back, it's Jennifer Tilly. Tiffany is in Jennifer Tilly's body, though. Jennifer Tilly is dead, we can only assume. They have a little daughter named Glenda. That's, I'm assuming, the daughter grown up a little bit more. And Glenn is in the boy's body. So
Mhm.
they swapped the baby into that doll. And then did they just kill the baby? All of that to ask that. Did they kill this baby?
I mean, it seems like the babies were fine, but they were able to just split Glenn's full-on personalities with both babies, and he got to be both a boy and a girl.
Wait, so when the oh, they did they just split both personalities? That's what happened?
That's what I was thinking because they had both a boy and a girl baby, and since this dude was feeling a boy and a girl in his own body, once they did the Chucky chant and they butchered it again, they switched it up again
Mhm.
by saying switch instead of awake, and neither of those were in the original anyway. Sorry, I get really annoyed that they keep switching that. Um,
Oh, and it's so
but
bad now.
it is, it's terrible. And switch. No, doesn't work. But yeah, I just assumed that they split both of his personalities and they were able to get both the boy and the girl, Glenn and Glenda.
Okay, I get it now. That makes more sense than the whole rant thing that I went on, but okay, I get that. Man, Glenda is fucking creepy then, but that's not the energy Glenda was given when she fucking lit Joan on fire and made her fall
Right.
down a flight of stairs. Like,
Right. She was
Gl-
fucking crazy.
yeah, Glenda was full Norman Bates,
Hmm.
like, screaming like "no" as he's being taken down. No, man,
Exactly.
more Glenda. Give us a Glenda movie, dude. Does Glenda come back? in these future movies. I feel like we're never gonna see Glenn or Glenda again.
Do you want me to answer that?
Yeah, you can answer that.
So she doesn't come back
Wait,
in the movie.
wait. Spoilers for the fate of Glenn and Glenda if the
um,
listeners don't want to know.
she doesn't come back in the movies, but she comes back in the TV show.
Oh, okay. Man,
Yeah,
maybe, you know, maybe we got to cover this TV show in the future. Wink, wink.
maybe. um, yeah, the episodes where they do have Glenn and Glenda in the series, they have more focus on Jennifer Tilly, but she is making so many jokes about herself and just acting more, ditzy crazy instead of homicidal crazy. And it got to the point where I stopped watching it because it wasn't entertaining for me. Once it got
Wait,
to
you
that
said
point.
Jennifer Tilly?
Yeah, just I got tired of all the cracks that she was making about herself. And yeah, I don't know. Maybe if I revisit the series, I might like it again now that I'm really dissecting these films for the podcast, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
Um, so where does this TV show like fall in place? Did it come out in between Curse of Chucky and Cult of Chucky?
I thought it came off or came out after. Um I really think it
Yeah.
came out after because Chucky does reference that he has a queer kid in the series in like one of the first few episodes too. So that came out in 2021 and Cult of Chucky came out in 2017. So, okay.
Okay, so the TV show was after all of this. Damn. TV show's a lot
Yeah.
more recent than I had realized. I didn't realize that was a post-COVID TV show.
Mhm. Mhm.
Okay. That's pretty cool. And Don Mancini's involved in the TV show?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay. Do you know if Doc of Chucky touches on the show at all? Is it just
I
the
don't
movies?
think they do. Yeah, it's just the movies. Yeah, cuz when I watched it the first time I didn't see them talking about the show or anything. And I could be wrong. Don Mancini might not be in it, but I want to say that he is. Um yeah,
Okay.
he is. He's involved with it. Sorry.
Okay, cool.
Sorry. All my facts are off.
Are there any moments in the movie that you wanted to talk about at all? Anything that you found positive?
Um let's see. It's not really, I would say, positive. I would say it's more so just out there from what I was used to seeing about Chucky. And it was just making me laugh because, again, watching Doc of Chucky and referencing Bride of Chucky again, and something that you kept talking about. Chucky's genitals. We get a little bit
Yeah.
of that in here. So, and in Bride of
Mhm.
Chucky. Um,
This movie has the same questions. These were important questions. Even the writer director was like, I kind of want to know too.
yeah, and even for Bride of Chucky, the the infamous sex scene, everyone was just cracking up about it. And they were just thinking, how is that gonna happen? So even Don Mancini was saying, we're just angling the camera down. You see some of Tiffany's butt, and then the director Ronnie Yu was saying, "Well, no one wants to see two dolls having sex, but at the same time they do. But also, how are we going to do that?" And then they had him basically like just showing their shadows, and everyone got a kick out of that. And then seeing all the puppeteers just laughing while they are simultaneously trying to work together to get these 2 dolls to have sex on TV, or not on TV, on film. Apparently, that was really difficult for them because all of them were laughing, and the same thing with this film. They're all trying to work together to, replicate a doll masturbating in this film. And apparently, you can see Chucky's dick in the unedited cut of this film, which I did not know. And I could have gone
Okay.
a life without knowing that.
I don't think that's the version that I saw. Um, what's it called? Man, they didn't think people would want to see puppets having sex. Were they wrong? Team America World Police came out in 2004, and if I remember correctly, that movie has an infamous puppet sex scene. I could be wrong. I haven't seen that since it originally came out. So, but I think that that does have a puppet sex scene.
Interesting.
Um,
um,
Anomalisa, I don't know if those are puppets. That has a very like real and kind of sad sex scene in it. If you want to check out that one, not a horror film. It's about the horrors of life.
oh, lovely. That makes it even
Yeah.
worse.
Mhm.
But my question to you is, were you finally satisfied that you got Chucky's genitals in both of these movies covered?
I don't remember Chucky's genitals in this movie. What point did they come up? I remember the Glenn genital search where they pantsed him, and I was like, that's the first thing I would do to Chucky. Not the kid doll, but the adult doll. What point did
um,
the Chucky genital scene happen?
when they were trying to prepare for the artificial insemination, so Tiffany was giving, Chucky the little cup so he can masturbate. And then they show him masturbating in the bathroom while Tiffany and Redman are downstairs. And the paparazzi, John Waters, he came and he
Mhm.
started taking pictures of Jennifer Tilly and Redman, but then he also sees Chucky upstairs whacking it. And then
Mhm.
he's like, oh, God bless the little people.
I don't remember that scene at all. I must have like not I must have like walked away for 2 seconds both times I watched this movie during that scene. I have no recollection of it. John Waters, you mentioned him. Shout out to him, director John Waters. Um, yeah, I wasn't too
Yeah,
familiar with him, but I was just like, oh, cool. And cool to see him in this movie, I
right.
guess. I don't know if I've seen any of his movies.
I don't know if I have either. I've just seen his face. And then on Doc of Chucky, he was talking about how he really just wanted to be a part of this and have a really gory death scene done by Chucky, and getting the acid poured on him and just watching his face melt. I had to turn away at that point. So
Mhm.
I'm sure he was happy with his own death scene in there.
Yeah, he's a director of Crybaby, Pink Flamingos, Hairspray. Yeah, Serial Mom. Ooh, Serial Mom.
He's the director of Crybaby, like
Y-
Johnny Depp Crybaby.
Yeah, Johnny Depp Crybaby.
I love that movie, but I love Johnny Depp, so
So, so you have seen one of his movies. I still haven't
I
seen any of
have.
it. I might have seen Hairspray actually. That movie, seeing the poster, I'm like, I feel like I've in another life I've seen this movie.
You probably have, or at least seen some parts of it.
I do want to say I thought I was going to be very annoyed with Glenn going into this movie, but I did kind of enjoy his journey going from, the puppet show guy where everybody hates him. He just like he's just living in a cage, sees his parents on TV on actually a very like nice looking vintage like TV. I really enjoyed the
Mhm.
look of Chucky and Tiffany being interviewed. I don't know, I'm really liking the aesthetic of, like, an old TV or, like, a VHS look, and I think part of that is because of the Morbid Curiosities logo we had originally come up with,
Right.
um, but then shipping himself off to LA and bringing his parents back to life and just going on this journey. His Chucky and Tiffany have the violence talk with him where he's, I think, maybe like laying in a bathtub or something, and Chucky's very creepily like tapping a knife on this bathtub, and it, I don't know, I am just very, very shocked that I enjoyed this thing, but I'm kind of glad that I tackled this beast and I'm here now at the other end of it. And it was, I don't want to say my white whale, but it was just this thing, Seed of Chucky, Seed of Chucky. It was always in the back of my head, this movie, like I'm never going to see it. I don't want to see it. I heard it's so bad. And to not only have finally watched it, but to like enjoy it. I think it's a triumph.
Well, I'm happy you enjoyed it, and at least have a lot of love for it that you can defend it on this episode because I still don't like it. Yes, I like it better than Child's Play 3, but I can't say that, yeah, I like this film. No, it's amusing, but I can't actually say that I like this film.
That's fair enough. And I feel like most people are going to fall in line with your opinion on this. Um how did you feel about the made in China thing on the wrist?
I hated
And
that part so much.
why'd you hate it?
Just because, at the end when um Chucky kills Tiffany and then Glenn's crying and then he just, snaps, he gets mad and you hear, the music playing and then his martial arts moves come out and he's trying to, beat up Chucky and then he finally kills Chucky. That just reminded me of spoilers for Halloween Resurrection, the ending of Halloween Resurrection. That pissed me the fuck off when Buster Rhymes basically makes Michael Myers look like a bitch when he's pulling out his martial arts moves. No, I nope, didn't fly with me at all.
Who did it first though? Was it Halloween or was it fucking Seed of Chucky? I
Nick, you gotta
I
prepare
actually
me for these questions.
I was prepared to vamp while you looked it up. I actually
Okay.
didn't really realize what's it called? That the maiden China thing, that's what it was actually in, like that fight scene was in reference to, until listening to the commentary and hearing Don Mancini talk about it.
So
Um
Halloween Resurrection was in 2002 and then
damn,
Seed of Chucky was 2004. So Halloween did it first.
I knew Halloween Resurrection was 2002. I should have just confidently said it like I do the the wrong things that I confidently say on this podcast. I did,
I
you know,
mean,
this movie did explain my Gina Gershon mix up. Gina Gershon is the other actress in Bound. I just mixed the two names with the faces, so I was like pretty close. And god damn it again, I have it in my notes. It says go on 30-minute rant about Bound. Um, you guys do yourself a favor, watch Bound. It rules. It's such a great movie. Um, yeah, uh Jennifer Tilly, how did you feel about her relationship with what's the name of her driver? I I kind of
oh,
I kind of dug
um,
that dude.
I did not dig that guy. He was kind of lame.
He
I'm
was, I
trying
know.
I'm trying to find him.
Stan.
Uh Stan? Oh, yeah, it was Stan. Um,
Yeah.
it seemed weird. Them 2, when they were together, she just starts making out with him, so I'm thinking, "Oh, okay, they've had, some relations already." Um, and clearly they must have because he's over there just practicing saying "I love you" to her, or, he's just really obsessed with her.
I
Um,
I loved how lame that was. He's like,
it
"I
was
love you,
so bad.
Tiffany. I love you. I
It was
love you,
so
Tiffany."
bad. Oh god. Have you ever had a moment like that where you needed to, practice something you were gonna say to a woman?
Um, n maybe. I rehearse in my head a lot.
Okay,
I don't
valid,
thi
but
I
not
don't know
like in
if
a
I
mirror or out loud?
No, the closest I have gotten to that is, back in the day when I had to actually call off, like, and talk to a person when I was calling off work. Um, I would rehearse, my sick voice and what I was going to say before I would make the
Nice.
call.
Nice.
Yeah, can you relate to that at all?
I can't because, like you, I try to rehearse everything in my head. Well, no, that's a lie. I do try to, have conversations with myself in the car, or not really with myself, but I'm thinking of, maybe an argument or a smart ass comment that someone said to me some time ago, and I'm thinking I could have said this or I could have said this, and just getting mad at myself because I didn't think of anything to say back to them to shut their ass up at the time. So yeah, not
But
really.
you never rehearse in preparation?
No, not really. Just more so after the fact of when it happens.
Yeah, I don't really do a whole lot of rehearsing either. I practice my accents alone to myself sometimes, though, if that counts.
Eh,
I'm watching a movie,
kinda.
I hear an actor doing an accent, I'll just start doing the accent too, just repeating the dialogue, trying to imitate the accent.
You're brave. I can't do that. I should
But
try
I'm
to at
alone when
least,
I do it.
but still, you're brave. If I'm alone and I try to say something, I just think, ew, why did I even try that? Let me shut up and go crawl under my rock again.
No, man, I when I'm alone, that's when I bounce the ideas around. Fucking talking to my dog, doing weird accents with her.
Oh, I say weird shit to my dog all the time, and that's probably why she doesn't love me because I annoy her.
Mm. I'm just with her fully quoting movies. Infinity War's on. I'm like, I know what it's like to lose, to feel so desperately that you're right, yet to fail all the same. And I just do the whole monologue and honestly, the whole movie.
It'd be like that with some movies. I respect that.
Yeah, not many movies. Infinity War is one of the few. I talked about this on the podcast. I saw it in theaters like 10 times. It's one of the few I can like probably quote the whole thing. I like think I remember the movie entirely front to back.
Nice, nice.
I'm gonna get there with Seed of Chucky too. It's a goal. I'm gonna watch it every day. I think this should become a a Seed of Chucky podcast. Actually,
Well, looking at our Instagram, that's pretty much what it looks like since we had to remake the page. I was just looking at it today and thinking, wow, this isn't even about horror movies. This is just about Chucky. We have all these little bits for Chucky.
yeah. If our main picture weren't the misery picture, then it would
Mhm.
look like we're just a podcast solely devoted to Chucky. Which I mean, we kind of are for 2 months.
Mhm. Pretty much.
Which isn't a bad thing. I'm really learning
No.
that. I didn't realize how much fun I would be having. Like, Child's Play 1 and 2, Bride of Chucky, and Seed of Chucky have all, like, I've had something to take away, but I mean, Mercedes, I feel like you gotta give Seed of Chucky another rewatch, then we gotta record another episode. Once a year, we will record a Seed of Chucky episode.
Yo, I can't make that commitment once a year. I could probably watch it once a year, but talking about this once a year, nah, I can't. Maybe I could do that about Bride of Chucky. You know, I that was more my jam than this one, but we all have our guilty pleasures here. You like this one. I like Bride of Chucky. It's all good.
I don't believe in guilty pleasures. At least
You don't?
not within movies and music. I feel like you just got to let yourself love them, you know. Don't feel guilt.
I try to see it from that perspective, but someone always rips on me for the music I like, people like you. I do the same thing
What?
back to you.
I don't think I ripped on
Yes, you
you.
did.
I said ew to Motley Crue. That was I listened back to that. I was like, damn, that was very cutting.
And then you talk trash about Avenged Sevenfold.
I
Um,
didn't No, I didn't.
yes,
No,
you
I
did.
didn't.
You
I
said they have
didn't
a,
talk
a cheese ball song or
a
something.
cheeseball
Um,
song. I feel like you
yes,
can
that's
say that
talking
about
trash.
everybody. That's not talking trash.
But to me, it is. It cut
Nightmare.
deep. It cut deep. They do have some songs that no, I am not a fan of, but I won't say it like that. Um,
I don't belong here. We gotta move on here. Escape from
s-
this afterlife. See, I
See,
know
you
the
know all
lyrics.
the lyrics. So,
I like that
see,
song.
okay then. We're on the same page with that. Let's
I
not go
didn't
back to that
trash
time.
them.
Yes, you
That's
did.
a harsh word.
You trashed them. You trashed them and then you trashed me.
Oh man.
Mhm. That's just what
Oh,
this podcast is. You're just here to, take jabs at me all the time, and I'm not witty enough to come back with something to hit you twice as hard. I will one day. I will prevail. I don't know when, but I will.
y- I don't remember the Bride of Chucky recording too much because for the listeners, we recorded them like 6 months apart from each other.
Mhm.
Uh, it feels like that. I don't know
Yes.
why. It felt so long between recordings,
It really
but
does.
I feel like I've been pretty calm the past couple episodes. I was expecting to be hyped. I was pretty excited to talk this movie, but I say pretty level. I had to take an academic approach to this movie
Why?
because it deserved it. You don't
It
think
deserved it?
it deserved it?
No, not at
Yes,
all.
it deserved it for reasons like Martha Stewart gets executed off screen, and a Britney Spears lookalike dies in an explosion.
It's Britney, bitch. I even had that in my notes. It's Britney, bitch. I love that scene. That was too funny.
See, the reaction you gave right now to that, I feel like should put this movie at like 3 stars for you. Let me rate the
3
movie
stars?
for you.
3 stars.
Three
That
out of
that
five. You don't think
that's
that's too generous?
generous.
Or you
That's
think that's
generous.
generous?
That is very generous. I would say 2.5 stars,
Two and a
maybe.
half stars? I give Child's Play
Yeah.
3 2 stars.
Child's Play 3, I give 1 star.
Yeah, I gotta bump that down to 1 or 1.5. That movie depresses me thinking about it. Ah, it's such a bad sequel.
Mhm.
It's not even that it's a bad
Mhm.
movie. It's just such a bad sequel.
Mhm. And like we were saying too, even the kills in there, they weren't memorable or exciting to watch. In Bride of Chucky, at least, you have cool actors in there. Like John Ritter, you have him in there, R.I.P. Um, and he loved being a fucking asshole. He really wanted to take on the role of being an asshole. And then you have Alexis Arquette just being insane in the beginning, and then his death scene was pretty, oh god, gross. Let's not talk about that either, even though I brought it up. But Child's Play 3, super fucking bland. Nothing to latch on to. So you do get some redemption in I cannot fucking talk. I'm sorry. You do get redemption in Bride of Chucky and in Seed of Chucky. I will admit again, it's better than part 3.
Yeah, and you I feel like this movie delivers us like a lot of great and memorable kill scenes. Aside from the first Child's Play, this might have all of my favorite kill scenes. The British parents, that being shot as like a parody of Halloween, which Don
Mhm.
Mancini had talked about, that it's shot to look like it's all one take, but it's broken apart with the thunder and the lightning. They
Mhm.
use that to kind of cut everything. And what's it called? I found that to be a surprisingly effective intro. Not fully, but when it starts cutting up, like the girl cutting up closer, being like, "You're peeing your pants, you're peeing your pants, you're peeing." I think that's what she's saying. I didn't even try to do a girl's voice, but
I think she
um,
said pissing instead of peeing.
"You're pissing your pants, you're pissing." Yeah, I felt
Oh,
like
and oh, side note, I think, Glenn/Glenda had made in Japan on his wrist, not made in China.
Japan. Yeah, that
Yeah,
would make sense. Um,
yeah.
I had made in China in my notes. That's probably why. Um,
Oh.
but yeah, I thought that kill was really good. The animatronic guy getting decapitated, not too great. I mean, Britney Spears, pretty funny. John Waters gets his face melted. And
Ugh.
Chucky hanging upside down in that moment
Oh
too,
my god.
with a knife in
So
his
funny.
mouth. Yeah,
Mhm.
I really dug that. I like the puppet work. Chucky has his fingers crossed as he's breaking a secret at one point.
Mhm.
That's a hand that they detach to Chucky or attach to Chucky because they can't move his fingers.
Oh, true.
I thought that was delightfully stupid. It's like he really needs to cross his fingers to break this promise. It, uh,
Right.
I know it's like shorthand for the audience, literal shorthand. Chucky got tiny hands, but
There you go again with the short jokes.
oh my, that was directed at Charles though, little
See,
Charles.
you've been shaying Chucky, and now you wanted to bring it back to Charles. You're just
Yeah, I feel like we're so far past the Charles of yesterday. I feel like he's become Chucky. He's a married man.
Mhm.
His lady calls him Chucky too. And so I was
Exactly.
like, you know, I feel like he's there. He's the nickname has fully grown on him
Exactly.
after all these
Um,
years.
and after the few episodes where you were really trying to stick to Charles,
Yeah.
you
Well,
finally evolved.
it it wasn't even a conscious effort. I mean, cuz Charles, I it felt right. He felt like Charles to me. I was making a connection with the human side of him. But I mean, that is kind of a testament to Don Mancini's writing. Mercedes is giving me a face. This is a testament to Don Mancini's writing. He's Chucky has lost his humanity. He's become dehumanized, if you will,
Mhm.
and he and me so naturally going from Charles to Chucky is just a testament to that. I don't know what else I can say.
No, I see that, and I love the
I
ending
like that you
where
took that seriously.
I know. I had to. But no, it leads me to my point here. The ending, where not the full ending, but where Chucky's about to, do the whole chant to switch everybody,
Mhm.
and Tiffany's like yelling at him to hurry up, and then Jennifer Tilly and Stan, they're just, screaming, and then his kids going off too. He finally snaps and is just like, "You know what? I can't do this shit anymore. like I like being a doll, like a killer doll. I'm notorious pretty much, and I have everything. I have a beautiful wife, a talented kid. I'm Chucky, the killer doll, and I dig it.
Mhm.
I fucking love that whole dialogue right there. So epic.
Uh, Brad Dourif, wrote that himself, actually.
Really? No
Yeah, I
wonder.
guess he only had like one or two lines there, and Brad Dourif was like, "This is a big moment for Chucky. I feel like let me take the reins on this one." So that's all him right there.
I
That's
love it.
that's coming from the character that he's been working with for what is it, like 2 decades at this point?
Pretty
Like
much.
the point of Seed of Chucky. Um Yeah, I thought that was great. You did I don't know if this happened before the monologue or after, but Stan, he bites it. Chucky or somebody throws a knife and it goes right into like his sternum as
Mhm,
he's like
yeah.
defending. He like blocks Jennifer Tilly, and I felt bad. I was like, man, I don't know. Maybe you're right, Mercedes. Maybe he did suck. He was kind of schlubby. Jennifer Tilly's actually like very beautiful. Um, she could do better.
Yeah, Stan was a fucking wiener. He only had 5 lines in here, and he was boring, and I feel like every man thinks Jennifer Tilly is beautiful.
I didn't really get it until these Chucky movies. I wasn't seeing it. The voice was a hindrance for me. I was like, it sounds like she's hurting when she talks. Like it hurts to speak.
I remember seeing her in Liar Liar first, and
The Jim Carrey
I
movie.
yeah, I love that movie. He's amazing in there. Um, but hearing her voice in there, I was just thinking, is this fake? Is that her real voice? She has to be faking that because no one could talk like that. Um, but I found out, oh, that is her real voice. Okay. Um,
It's kind of
but
like I think Marge from The Simpsons might have a very similar voice to how her character sounds. I could be wrong. I want to say I saw that actress in a movie directed by Jane Campion. Um, I might be wrong. I might be conflating a couple of things, but yeah, it I think that's why she is so like or she got this popularity though is because of like how specific she sounds.
yeah, I mean, Don Mancini did create the role of Tiffany for her, and he did tell her, every time I wrote out the script for you, um this role I would hear in your voice. So, um she brings a nice little charm to it, especially at I know I've said that before, but at the end of Bride of Chucky, when uh uh geez, I can't talk. Chucky kills Tiffany at the end. Um Jennifer Tilly was talking about how her and Brad Dourif, they were still in their recording booths in front of each other, and she was saying, at that part where he stabs me, I look up and Brad Dourif is tearing up, and that was a touching moment for them, and even he um finished off with, why haven't I had a bride before this, or why did it take so long for me to get a wife in here or something. And like Brad Dourif loved having Jennifer Tilly as his opposite in here, so they make such a good duo. I love them together.
They do. Tiffany, I think, kind of steals these movies. They kind of like how I said Child's Play 2 would sink without Kyle. I think these
Hmm.
movies would really sink without Tiffany. It, she should almost be the main focus for a movie. This is what I want to see. Tiffany, the main focus, or Glenda, the main focus. Give me. Well, I'll put Glenda off to the side. Glenda needs her own movie. We got to give Glenda justice. Hashtag justice for Glenda. Listeners, you know, you rally behind certain stuff on this podcast. It may not always be in my favor. Rally behind this. Hashtag justice for Glenda. Tweet at Don Mancini. Message Don Mancini. Hashtag justice for Glenda. Tell him we sent you. We want more Glenda. At least I do. I can't speak for Mercedes. But hashtag justice for Glenda. We need more of her. That aside, we need a movie that is Tiffany focused with Chucky as a side character, much like Captain Jack Sparrow in the first Pirates of the Caribbean movie. Use Chucky sparingly, have him around for spectacle, make it be special when Chucky pulls up on screen. And let's have a just Tiffany focused movie. Is it too late to get her back in the doll?
We I'm gonna need you to well, we both need to just watch the series. We don't have to cover it for the podcast,
The
but
TV show?
yeah.
Guys, I mean, well, not. Well, maybe we've been talking about if we ever did a Patreon, we'd probably start with the Chucky TV show over there. So
Mhm.
it might be in the cards, but there's a good chance I might just watch the TV show just for the sake of it. And maybe like throughout the podcast, future episodes, we can like dip in at the end of the episode, like, hey, where are we at with Chucky? Let's talk about that Chucky TV show.
I do have a random callback to our previous episode. I think it's our previous episode. But before we go off the rails with that, would do you have any final thoughts on Seed of Chucky, your favorite fucking movie?
Yeah, man. Sorry to disappoint. I don't know if you were expecting us to like both go in and like shit on the movie together. I kind of wanted to keep it a secret a little bit because you also hadn't rewatched it yet when I was first watching it, and I was
Right.
texting you like, "Oh my god, there is so much to talk about." And even though we covered everything in my notes, actually, I still feel like we haven't even scratched the surface. This movie is going to be dissected by me for decades. Um
I could see you doing that. You just bringing it up in almost every episode. Remember in Seed of Chucky, this happened. I think that's where this movie got it from. I see you doing that.
I'm going to write a book about it. Um I so I'll say this. I'm super super excited for the next two movies. I had no expectation for Cult of Chucky and Curse of Chucky. I have no idea which order they come out in. Um but now knowing that these are still done by Don Mancini, it seems like he really has an attachment for this character and he's interested in seeing this character do new things in each movie. At least that's how it seemed from everything I was listening to from Seed of Chucky. He could have had a change of heart because I think there's a big gap in between these next two movies that we're about to review, like their original release date. But I I'm optimistic. I like when a creator stays attached to something and really gets to see their vision through, and it doesn't seem like a cash grab. Like this seems like something he's like passionate about. Again, just from stuff I've gotten from the Seed of Chucky and Bride of Chucky interviews actually. But all of that being said, I'm really happy to have watched Seed of Chucky and to have walked away like a fan of it. I was saying like one of these movies that people find bad, I'm gonna latch on to and I'm really gonna like it. And I didn't think Seed of Chucky was gonna be the one. I was putting my money on Child's Play 3, didn't realize how bad that was gonna be. But yeah, Seed of Chucky, like I'm walking away from this our first like full season of this podcast, walking away being like, damn, there are going to be some hidden gems in these fucking mini series, even the ones that like, or not mini series, in these like seasons. And even the longer ones that might seem daunting that we'll eventually do, like the Hellraisers, I feel like are pretty long, and the Friday the 13th. It makes me feel like there might be some really fun experiences to be had in the middle of these like extensive like question mark franchises. The ones that are at least a question mark to me. I know that was long-winded, but yeah, I enjoyed Seed of Chucky. There's gonna be one listener on our Instagram page who's probably gonna be happy that I defended Seed of Chucky.
I mean, I'm happy that you at least enjoyed it because neither of us had a good time watching Child's Play 3, and it felt very difficult to get a good episode out for that movie too. Um, and yeah, I didn't think that you would enjoy this film, but knowing that you did, I like it because it at least we can see, our tastes starting to, differ a little bit. So it makes for good discussion here on the podcast.
Yeah, I think this is our first full-on like difference in opinion that we've come
Mhm.
across right now. And honestly, part of me was like, man, what if we really like went to the mat with each other on this one? And Mercedes was like, fuck you, you're an idiot, you like trash. And I was like, you don't get high art, you know.
I mean, we'll
And
probably get to a point, some movie where we're pretty heated on the topic, and I might be defending the movie and you might think it's trash, and therefore call me trash. We don't know. The world awaits us.
I would never insult you or your taste. I don't see it getting to that point, but I'm ready for like a high energy. I don't want to say heated cuz I don't really want us to get like angry with each other
Oh,
legitimately.
I
And
don't mean like mean heated, like
like
just where.
a high energy, high spirited back
Yeah,
and
right.
forth, with
I really
some
can't talk.
nice insults.
Yeah, I'm working on being wittier with you. Um and trying to come back with some funnier comebacks. It hasn't happened, and I've been slurring my words all throughout this episode and the podcast really.
Oh,
So,
I haven't even noticed.
no, I've been fucking up words. My vocabulary apparently is really bad too. But no, I like that we were clashing with this one because I'm really excited to see what your thoughts are on Curse of Chucky. That one is next, and that one was released in 2013, and this one was 2004. So yeah, definitely a big jump.
Curse is the one that you like.
Yes, Curse is the one that I love.
Okay, nice. I
Yeah.
like that I know that you loved it. I actually got like chills when you said that. Because it's like, again, it's just like kind of how I found like Seed of Chucky through this. It sounds like out of all these Chucky movies, there's like an obscure one in the middle that you really like latched
hmm
onto. Because love is a strong word, but you love it. Like this is one you would put up there with one and two.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, guys, well, tune in fucking next week for that. You just got me excited for.
He-
Okay, I've got some expectations now. That's cool. Yeah, we're like nearing the end of this thing. We got two more Chuckies and then the remake left to do. And then we're
Mhm.
on the other side of this. We're gonna be onto our next series, which we'll tell you guys about in a couple episodes. Um,
Yeah, that'll be fun.
but yeah, you wanted to go off the rails?
Yes. So, my husband was talking to me today, and he was actually offended because one of our episodes you had asked, what is a quote that he took from a movie that I didn't like or just stood with him, and I couldn't say any at the time. Um and it wasn't because I couldn't remember, it's just I didn't wanna say them on mic, but, since we're in this franchise and now we have Jennifer Tilly and everyone kind of can recognize, her features and all, it reminded me of one. So have you seen the movie, Superstar with,
Um, is that
Molly
Will Ferrell?
Shannon? Yeah, Will Ferrell and Molly Shannon
Mhm.
in there. Yeah,
Yeah.
so,
I had an
um,
ex-girlfriend that, like, loved that movie.
that's a good ass movie.
I don't remember much of it.
Ah, do you remember the part where Molly Shannon's character is fighting with the mean girl in there?
No. But
Okay.
you can describe it for the listeners.
Okay, so yeah, Molly Shannon plays this dorky girl, Mary Catherine Gallagher. Spoilers if no one has seen that. And if you haven't, what the fuck? That's a good ass movie. Anyway, um, yeah, she just wants to be in this talent show, and this other character in there, Evian, she is the mean girl, but the popular girl in there, she's dating Will Ferrell. I just don't know this girl's real name. But she's telling her, no, you can't be in it. So Molly Shannon, she fucking pushes her and they start doing like a little girl fight. But then all of a sudden, Molly Shannon just starts punching the shit out of her boobs. And you just hear like the weird sound effects of it too. So it was awkward, but she fucking just keeps going at it with her. And the other character, Evian, just grabs hold of her chest and is just like, my titties. And that's the fucking line that stood with him because randomly, if like he saw like girls fighting or something online, he would just yell that. And then apparently someone said something related to that movie at his job, and he was able to full on say that. So yeah, that's what I mean. When I show him movies, he latches on to the weirdest fucking quotes. He didn't latch on to the part where this dumbass is like smelling her underarms. He latched onto that. So, just throwing that in there for this episode because he was highly offended.
Nice. Well, I'm glad you could correct that egregious error you made on Mike. How dare you?
I know. I suck for that. He really cracked me up. I'm like, crap, now I have to rectify this situation. So,
You know what? Now
um,
he gets to do Cult of Chucky or Curse of Chucky.
yeah.
Yeah,
I think I might have him watch it with me just so I can get his input on it now because I want to hear one of his opinions on a movie that we cover as I
you
watch
guys
it.
should you guys should do like a monthly bonus episode for the podcast where you just relitigate everything you talked about, every story you've told about him, and we just get his side. We get all of it.
He'll be like, "No, wait a minute, that's not what happened. This is what happened." Yeah,
Yeah,
that
well,
would sorry.
no, you go ahead.
No, I was gonna say that'd be entertaining.
Yeah, if I said it as a joke, but if you guys ever did it, I wouldn't be offended. If you're like, hey, once a month, can we record a relitigation of everything we discussed? Maybe the end of every
Maybe
season, you guys go through and release a bonus episode where it gives his side of the story.
maybe he'll jump on an episode with us. I'll ask him, see what he thinks. He finally listened to all of our episodes, so I don't know. Who knows? Maybe he'll jump on it, but if he does, oh my god. There's
What
no joke that I can say that will top any of his, so
what horror movies would you say that he loves? Really putting you on the spot now, testing your knowledge of your husband. I'll cut it all out if you don't have an answer.
I know, right? What the hell? Well, that's the thing. He doesn't really love see, I'm fucking up my words because now I'm nervous.
He doesn't
No, he
like
doesn't.
horror milk?
Yes, the moo juice, the secret moo juice. Um,
He doesn't like
no,
horror
he
blah?
He, doesn't like, he'll watch horror films because I put them on, but he's more so of
Mhm,
an actiony film guy, a military film guy, so, it was actually funny because one film he wanted me to watch, he's like, "This is my favorite film, and I really want you to watch it." I'm like, "Okay, what is it?" And he said Saving Private Ryan, and I had never watched it, so I'm like,
mhm.
"Okay, let's watch it." And I was
You
just
saw the
traumatized. I
wildest shit ever in, like, the first
Yeah,
20
and
minutes.
exactly, and then one of the kill scenes at the end where the guy stabs this other guy, and I'm sorry, I don't remember any of these people and their names, but you have this bitch soldier who didn't even go to this guy's defense, and I looked at him and just said, "Why would you have me watch this?" And
Mhm.
he's just like,
You're like,
"You
"Wait,
have you."
is that is that Woody from Toy Story?"
Right. No, he was just like, "You watch all these fucking horror films, but you can't watch this?" I'm like, "Yeah, because I know that shit's fake. I know this is fake too, but I didn't wanna watch this. Wow, that really fucked me up
W
after
war
watching
mo
that, so."
War movies are very, very different. I can't always
Mhm.
handle war movies, um, just because there's, like, a psychological, like, element of, like, what's
Mm.
happening to the characters that, like,
Right.
really bothers me. It's very specific to Vietnam War movies, though, like,
Mhm.
Apocalypse Now, it took a while for that movie to really work for me. Full Metal Jacket, that's a movie
Oh
where I
god.
found the end, like, deeply upsetting and other parts of that movie pretty upsetting.
Mhm.
Um, World War II, it's a bit more interesting, like a war movie. Jarhead, there's some upsetting shit in that. War movies have, like, stuff that's upsetting on very, like, real level that horror movies I mean, Terrifier, it's like, you see a wax butt with a chainsaw going up it or whatever.
Oh, man. He actually likes that movie.
The Terrifiers?
Well, actually, I don't know if he likes them, but he became interested in them when someone started talking about it, so
Mhm.
which surprised me because I had no interest in watching them. So that
Do
was
you watch do you watch these movies that we talk about with your husband ever?
if I have it on and um he's home, he'll come and watch it, but then he's normally doing his own thing. Um so yeah, but I do want to watch Curse of Chucky with him because we've watched it together before, but I want his opinions on it now.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you guys ever watch them together, like, feel free to if he takes any notes, to bring those to the table.
Okay, cool. I'll just plagiarize all of his shit.
No, just fully be like, "I have notes from Adrian." I think that would be a pretty fun addition to the show.
Yeah, I'm gonna see what he says. I'm gonna make him watch the movie with me and just jot down everything he says.
Nice. Well, hell yeah. It's a pretty chill end to the episode. Should we insult each other or something before we wrap up?
um,
Is
I'm
it
always
is
right.
this too nice of an ending?
I'm always right, even when I'm wrong. And, Nick will come to terms with that one day.
Except, when it comes to Seed of Chucky. Um, Mercedes, I just can only hope and pray that one day you will find clarity, or, much like I needed to find sobriety, I hope one day you find Seed of Chucky in your heart.
We are morbid curiosities.
Yeah.